Hi Stampers, welcome to Great Inspirations. My name is Kim Tolbert and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you can see, I have several cards to share with you. Before we get started, just let me remind you that all of the cutting dimensions, the supply list, and instructions for these cards can be found on my blog. And there will be a link to that blog in the description of this video. So let's take a look at today's cards. As you can see, these cards all have something in common in that they were all made using these dies. The Picture This dies, and these dies are featured in the current Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. Now these dies are what I call standalone dies in that they aren't paired with any specific stamp set. So that makes them very versatile. Another thing that makes these dies versatile is you can use them to cut frames, or you can use the pieces in the center for images and sentiments. So that's the dies, and here are the cards. This card I made using the Lovely You stamp set, and of course the circle dies from the Picture This dies. And here's one I made using the rectangles. I used some designer series paper as opposed to cardstock. And some of that pretty pool party sheer ribbon. And then this one I did just a little differently in that I cut out the frame with Poppy Parade. And then I stamped and die cut the images. The frame and the images are both put onto the card base with dimensionals. And for this card, I used the Way to Goat stamp set and some designer series paper and some of that pretty bumblebee paper and a little bit of the gingham bumblebee ribbon. For this little card, this little baby card, I used a really cute stamp set called Count on Me. I just think the images are really sweet. It's got some nice sentiments. But today we're going to use these images to make a baby card. And this Hello Baby actually is from the Kangaroo & Company stamp set, which is no longer available. It has sold out. It was in the January through June mini catalog. But there are images, sentiments that are small in the Hydrangea stamp set and a few other stamp sets that will fit very nicely in those little circles. So let me show you a couple of ways that you can make this card. And we're going to start with some Blushing Bride and some designer series paper. And this is from the Seashells, I believe it is. It's in the mini catalog. It will be retiring after the 30th of June, so very soon. And as you can see, I've cut some holes in it with the dies. Well, that's because I'm going to need these little pieces right here. And we won't be seeing this on the card, so we may as well save some designer series paper and just cut it from that layer. Now the next thing we'll need is a piece of printer paper and a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock, and both of those will be cut at 5 inches by 3 3/4. And we would just put one right on top of the other, put our die on it, and run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and this is what we get. I've punched all the little pieces out. But we do this because this will give us a template to use on some basic white cardstock that is also 3 3/4 by 5. And this will help us to know where to stamp these images. It'll be just perfect. Now, you can adhere this down with some washi tape or some painter's tape or any kind of low tack tape. But I'm just going to hold it in place because these images are small and it should be kind of easy to stamp them. We're going to use some of the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And the first thing we'll stamp is this cute little kiwi. Get him right in there. And then some little koala bears. There we go. And last but not least, this cute little fox. There we go. Put this away before I have ink all over everything. And we'll remove the template. And as you can see, everything fits in there real nicely, just very nicely. So then I will color these with the Stampin' Blend markers, which I have one right here. And what I did, this I put dimensionals on the back of the Blushing Bride piece, and then just attach it to the image piece. And now what we're going to do, we're going to take a little liquid glue, and I'm going to just put some right here, and we're just going to pop these little circles right in here. Now the thing I like about the liquid glue for this particular project is you have some wiggle room and you can move it around. Put another one. Oh, I forgot to stamp the Hello Baby. I stamped the Hello Baby and, of course, the Blushing Bride. Okay, so we'll put our other little piece in here. And we will turn this over and I'll show you a secret. When I put the dimensionals on, I didn't quite get everything lined up. So I just took my scissors and trimmed it up a little bit. No one will ever know. So now we take some liquid glue and we'll put this on our card base. And there's that. And as you can see, I have some ribbon on here. And this is the white crinkled seam binding ribbon. And I colored it with the dark soft seafoam Stampin' Blend. We don't have a Blushing Bride Stampin' Blend, so I just took some, left it white. And we'll just wrap it around the card. And see if I can tie a bow. I'm not the best bow tire in the world. We'll tie it in a bow. Oops, see, told you. I pulled the wrong. Oh, let's try this one more time. Keep pulling the wrong thing. There we go, sort of. And we'll trim the end. I think that one's okay. Just trim the end a little bit. And there's that card. Now we'll do another one, another way you can do it. And for this one, we're going to use some So Saffron and the same Designer Series paper. But what I did this time was I just ran the cardstock, the So Saffron cardstock, through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So it will fit right here. I've got dimensionals on it, and we'll just be putting that on the card base in just a minute. But then I took a piece of basic white cardstock and the die and just ran that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I got all my little pieces. Now I won't need these 3. Oh yes, I need 1 little piece, but I don't need these 2, so we can use those for something else. So what we're going to do with these is basically the same thing. We're just going to stamp the images on the circles. So we'll do the fox first, since he was last the other time. And we'll just stamp him right here. And then, I should have left that open. There we go. The koalas. And then the cute little kiwi bird. We're done with the black, so now we'll get the So Saffron. Not going to forget to stamp the happy baby this time, or hello baby. There we go, and then we would color these again with the Stampin' Blends. But I do have some that I've colored. So I'll just put these right over here. And we're going to peel the backs off the dimensionals. And you can use more dimensionals if you like. It's up to you. Just going to get this on here, center as best we can. And that's not very, well, it'll work for now. And then what I will do is just put some adhesive or the multi-purpose glue. And those just pop right in. And like I say, you have some wiggle room, so if you don't get it quite right, you can move it around a little bit. And then the Hello Baby. And then we already have our designer series paper in there. And I have some of that crinkle seam binding ribbon that I've colored with the So Saffron Dark Stampin' Blend. I'll show you how I did that. It's really easy and it dries really quickly. You can also use your Stampin' Right markers, but you need to either dry it with your heat tool or just let it sit and air dry because it will be really messy. It will be wet for a bit. So there, as you can see, it's just that easy. There we go. So this ribbon, I think I used about 22 inches for this and for the Blushing Bride card. Oh, we've got a little knot in it already. Okay, there we go. And once again, I'll try my bow tying skills. Oh, there. You didn't believe me when I said I had a hard time tying bows, did you? Some I can tie better than others, some ribbons. The twine, I think, is my favorite to work with as far as for tying. And then we'll just trim it. I'm still not liking that much. but we'll work on it. So there you go. Those are a couple of different ways that you can get your images in place with those dies. And also, excuse me, as you recall this, I just cut the frame, die cut the frame, and then put the images inside it. So there's the cards we've just made. There's that one. And let's see. Here's the one with the goat. And the lovely you. And I'm running out of space. The little birdhouses. As I said, all the information as far as the supplies for these cards, the cutting dimensions, and the how-tos will be on my blog. And the link to my blog will be in the description below. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, stamp happy!